The enigma of Kenyammen. Kenyammen is one of Turkey's most internationally recognized celebrities, a handsome actor with a law degree, global fame, and a fanbase stretching from Istanbul to Rome, Madrid to São Paulo. But despite his success, or maybe because of it, Kenyammen has become a polarizing figure. Some people absolutely adore him, while others find him arrogant, overly confident, and even problematic. So why is Kenyammen both loved and hated at the same time? In this video, we dive deep into the career, controversies, and charisma of Turkey's most talked about export. 1. Rise to fame, the perfect package. Kenyammen started as a relatively unknown actor, working in Turkish romantic comedies like Erkenci Kuş, Early Bird, where he starred alongside Demet Özdemir. The series was a hit, not just in Turkey, but also across Europe and Latin America. Suddenly, Kenyammen wasn't just a local heartthrob, he was an international icon. With his athletic physique, perfectly styled hair, and bad boy smile, he quickly became the face of Turkish drama abroad. His roles often cast him as the strong, silent type, mysterious, bold, and a bit wild. Audiences fell in love with the fantasy. But with that fantasy came expectations, and Kenyammen didn't always meet them. 1.1 Early projects in Turkey. Before his breakout with Erkenci Kuş, Kenyammen appeared in a few lesser-known Turkish TV series such as Gönül İşleri and Hangimiz Sevmedik. These roles laid the groundwork for his public persona, allowing him to test his acting range and understand what Turkish audiences were looking for. While these shows weren't major international hits, they proved his ability to captivate a domestic audience. Interestingly, he also managed to balance these roles while finishing his law degree, a fact often cited by fans to highlight that he's more than just a pretty face. It's this juxtaposition, the intellectual and the model, that helped fuel his mystique early on. 2. The controversies begin. It wasn't long before Kenyammen's public image started facing backlash. In interviews, he often came across as overly confident. One of his most criticized moments came when he suggested that chemistry between actors could be created by having sex, a comment many found offensive and unprofessional. This statement sparked outrage in Turkey and abroad, especially among women's rights groups and his own fans. Suddenly, the charming romantic lead seemed tone-deaf and egotistical. Even his co-stars reportedly distanced themselves from him. The media, always hungry for controversy, latched on hard. 2.1 Reactions in Turkish media. In Turkey, where public perception is tightly intertwined with cultural values, such comments are not easily overlooked. Morning shows and entertainment programs debated his statement extensively. Some tried to defend him, arguing it was a poor joke or lost in translation, but others called for boycotts. The reaction was severe enough that Kenyammen took a short break from public appearances. This period marked a turning point. He either had to double down or reshape his image entirely. 3. Reinvention in Italy. But instead of crumbling under the pressure, Kenyammen pivoted. He moved to Italy and began building a brand new career. Fluent in Italian, he starred in TV shows, did commercials, and even launched his own line of perfume. Italy welcomed him with open arms. He became a staple in gossip magazines and red carpets. While some critics in Turkey continued to call him out, Italians seemed less concerned with his past statements and more interested in his charisma. For many, this was a comeback story, a man who made mistakes, learned, and reinvented himself. 3.1 A cultural fit? Italy's entertainment culture often embraces bold personalities, and Kenyammen's confidence was interpreted more as charm than arrogance. Collaborations with local celebrities and appearances on popular shows gave him a second chance to tell his story, this time on his own terms. 4. The devoted fanbase. Despite all the negativity, Kenyammen's fanbase remains incredibly loyal. On social media, he boasts millions of followers. His fans defend him relentlessly, celebrate his projects, and organize fan events across Europe. He also uses his platform for charity. During natural disasters in Turkey and Italy, he has contributed both financially and with awareness campaigns. These acts of goodwill make it harder for people to write him off completely. Even those who criticize his behavior admit that he has a heart, and he's trying to use his fame for good. 4.1 Social Media Power. A deep dive into his Instagram and Twitter accounts reveals a calculated but effective public persona. He regularly posts behind-the-scenes shots, fitness routines, and motivational messages. This carefully curated image helps him maintain a strong connection with fans and draw in new followers. 5. The hate continues. Still, not everyone is convinced. Some see his charity work as PR. Others believe he hasn't taken full responsibility for past comments. There's also criticism about his acting style, which some say hasn't evolved. Kenyammen is often labeled as someone who relies too heavily on looks and charm rather than depth and versatility. Critics argue that he plays the same macho role over and over again, and that he hasn't proven himself in more serious, complex dramas. 5.1 Controversies. Other Turkish stars. Compared to actors like Kenyammen or Kıvanç Tatlıtuğ, Kenyammen is often viewed as less nuanced. While those stars take on roles in historical dramas or psychological thrillers, Ken has mostly stayed in the romantic genre. This specialization can be both a strength and a limitation, depending on perspective. 6. The media's role. The media plays a huge part in shaping public opinion. Kenyammen is a media darling. Every move he makes is documented, analyzed, and debated. His relationships, his outfits, even his vacations make headlines. But this intense scrutiny creates a double-edged sword. Fans get more content, but it also leaves more room for criticism. Every word is picked apart. Every gesture is analyzed. In such an environment, it's nearly impossible to please everyone. 6.1 Tabloid fuel or target? It's worth noting how often Turkish and European tabloids frame him differently. While European outlets romanticize him, Turkish headlines tend to focus on controversy. This duality further feeds the polarizing narrative. 7. The bigger picture. Why do some celebrities evoke such strong emotions? The answer lies in how we project our ideals, or our frustrations, onto public figures. Kenyammen, with his good looks and high-profile lifestyle, represents something aspirational to some and irritating to others. He's a mirror for people's desires and resentments. And that makes him a lightning rod for both love and hate. 7.1 Cultural expectations and gender norms. Some critics argue that Kenyammen represents an outdated, hypermasculine ideal. Yet, for others, he's an antidote to more sensitive or soft male leads. This ongoing cultural conversation plays out through reactions to his persona. 8. Final thoughts. So, is Kenyammen arrogant or misunderstood? A genius in self-promotion or just lucky? The truth probably lies somewhere in between. What's certain is this: love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. Kenyammen is here to stay, and as long as he's in the spotlight, the conversation will continue. Let us know in the comments, do you love Kenyammen or find him overrated? Either way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite, and most controversial, stars. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.